Hi Sam, thanks for coming in to see me again today.
Yeah.
Last time we caught up, you spoke a little bit of how you're feeling a bit anxious. Is that still how you've been feeling this week?
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much been the same.
Mm,
Although, like last session, I felt a lot more relieved after that. But yeah, nothing's changed much since that time. So I
mm.
think I'm still pretty much the same.
Yeah, so you felt a sense of relief, but the
Mhm.
anxiousness is still same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think last time we caught up, you rated it at 7 or 8 on 10. Would that still be the amount of anxiousness you're feeling this week
Well,
or right now?
I don't know about right now, but I
Mm.
guess that's pretty much up there, yeah. Or
Mm.
what it might be, right? Since nothing's really changed from since then. But yeah, I have been feeling pretty okay
Yeah.
today. Yeah.
That's good. And what some of the things you shared, because last week when we caught up, you spoke a bit
Mhm.
about why you, why perhaps you were feeling anxious, and you spoke about your home life in particular, and
Yeah.
you mentioned that there's been conflict with many members of your family,
Yeah.
and that's led a lot to to your anxiousness. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Mm.
that's pretty much right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the anxiety is there even in your uni life, especially in submitting assignments. That's what you
Mhm.
mentioned. And you also mentioned that in general, there's just a difficulty in you making decisions.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
correct?
right.
Yeah.
That's completely right.
Mm.
It's been hard for me. I've been second guessing all my decisions lately.
Mm.
And in general, I don't understand why. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So what I've done today is based on what you told me last week. I've made something called a formulation.
Mhm.
So I've listed out the problems that you mentioned and other factors as well, including your emotions and your behaviors.
Right.
And I've made a formulation that I'd like to share with you,
Okay.
which is pretty much just an idea of what could be, the causes of the issue,
Mhm.
what could be triggering it, what could be maintaining it,
Right.
that sort of thing. Is that
Okay.
something you'd like to hear right now?
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes.
And through this, I'd love for you to be able to input in it as well. So if you
Mhm.
feel that you want to, yeah, you're not happy with it and you want to add more to it or obviously change it, I'm more than happy to do it because I'd love for it to be collaborative
Mhm.
process. So basically, we'll start with the problem itself. So what basically I've written down is this obviously, as I was saying before, you're fearful of making the wrong decisions.
Mhm.
There's a general sense of anxiety, and perhaps within that as well, there's a sense of I noticed that, I sense that there's a lack of confidence within yourself. Would
Mhm.
that be some of the main areas of the problem?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Mm.
With everything going on at home and just in general with my studies and work, I think
Mm.
yeah, that's probably right. I am feeling pretty low,
Yeah.
and I've not been very confident in
Mm.
any decisions and anything in general. So yeah, that's pretty much right.
For sure. And the other part that sort of helps us understand the problem more
Mhm.
is sort of looking at aspects like what the triggers are,
Right.
what the maintaining factors are, so what it is that is actually maintaining and causing the problem to continue on,
Mhm.
and also pretty much what it is that has made you feel vulnerable to feeling anxious in the
Mhm.
first place.
Mhm.
And I suppose it's good to explore all of that to shed more light on
Mhm.
what the problem is, and also then figure out what you can do to
Right.
help minimize that in the future. So some of the things that have come up in our session is obviously the conflict with family members has
Mhm.
been a big key,
Mhm.
and obviously you'd mentioned your brother having mental issues and you having conflict with your sister as well.
Mhm.
But in particular, what I've written down is your communication with your dad is broken, and perhaps his unrealistic expectations is, yeah, perhaps leading you to feel that you need to be perfect.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
and
definitely
yeah.
been that way. It's a lot of pressure from
Mm.
everyone. Everyone's just so focused on my brother and his issues that
Mm.
I just feel like there's no space for me. And like my dad, he has all these just perfect way of doing things.
Mm.
I just don't don't understand that because, you know, I can't be that way.
Yeah, for sure. And so you're saying him having those expectations of you is
Mhm.
making you feel like you have to do things perfectly. Do you
Yeah.
think that could perhaps be affecting you wanting to do things perfectly in your uni grades or assignments? Think?
Probably. I think
Mm.
that's what it is. You know, like every time I make a draft, everything I write down,
Mm.
I end up thinking it's not good enough, and I end up being scared. Like, what if my professors don't think that it's good?
Mm.
What if I don't pass?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much right. Yeah.
Yeah, and what you mentioned, so I've written that down as I said, perhaps due to your dad's relationship with you. The other two important aspects of the problem is, of course, the triggers, which is what is basically triggering you to feel that way, and then the factors that are maintaining that problem. So we can call them triggers and maintaining factors. And even here, you've got pressures of uni and your part-time work.
Yeah.
Obviously, you being involved in those things, though they have responsibilities as well, and that could sort of, do you think that perhaps in a way is triggering a bit of the anxiety as well?
Yeah,
The pressures
definitely,
there.
definitely. I think that's two probably main things in my life. It's just hard juggling and balancing all of that. But yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. And of course, as I said before, the living at home, not just with your dad, but just the general environment at home, is perhaps a trigger as well for that, as well as perhaps when you're submitting your assignment, that sense of you, yeah, do you feel when you submit your assignment there's a fear of failure?
Yeah,
I think.
definitely. Like
Mm.
I just don't want them to think that I'm not good. Like I try hard, and I'm just scared that my professors might think that I didn't do well and that I might not be good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, yeah, that sort of fear of failing and self-doubt perhaps leads you to not do it in the first place, to avoid doing the things that are causing you anxiety, which then could result in you feeling more anxious because you're not exposing yourself to the anxiety, you're departing from it,
Yeah.
which could probably cause you to feel more anxious. And so the final thing I've listed, which is actually something that I'd love to discuss with you, is your protective factors. And what that means is just the things that are making you feel good, making you cope with your anxiety, right? And so you mentioned your close relationship with your mom briefly last week. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, definitely. Like my mom is probably the only one in my family that I can actually talk to about my struggles, and of course, it's not perfect. I guess she tries to understand me, but yeah, I mean, I guess she's the only one that actually has the time and the patience to listen to me.
Yeah, for sure. So you feel a relationship with your mom is a good thing for you.
Yeah.
Like she's able to listen to you and be patient with you and just give you that time.
Yeah,
Is that right?
exactly.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
amazing. Yeah. And the other protective factor I've listed is just the fact that you coming here. That's really good because you're recognizing that you have concerns. It's affecting your life, and you want to improve.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Yeah.
I think like seeing my brother having all those issues, I guess I didn't really have a good understanding of what it could be, like counseling and all of that. I never really thought of it as a good thing. But I know I have all these problems and I know I have to move forward. So, I felt like I had to give it a chance.
Yeah. So it's really good, and I think I wanted to sort of end our session with those protective factors because it's good to for you to reflect on those as well.
Yeah.
And so maybe next time we catch up, we can dive more into this formulation.
Yeah.
Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be a great thing.
Cool. Thanks, Sam. We'll catch up next time.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.